Hey everybody, this is Captain Fool reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy. Alright everybody, for those of you that know the drill, I go over a bunch of comic books for the week that I chose to read. Now I didn't have time to read everything, so if I missed something you think I should have read, let me know in the comments below. Also, you may disagree with me on some of my choices. If that's the case, that's alright. Let me know below. Let's just try to keep it civil. My goal is to bring back the old schoolyard days, where we would be in discussing what hero could beat who or what comic book was good and not. And I come armed with my trusty notes, so you'll hear the paper rattle because I do it a little bit old school. I do my grading on a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being average as a 70%. So I'm using schoolyard grading. But that's not all. I also use the League of Comics Geeks to give you other people's views as well as a brief overview of the comic book as well. So let's jump right in. Welcome back, friends. Let's jump in and have some interesting, fun comic book discussion today, shall we? First one I want to talk about is West Coast Avengers, issue number 6, which had 108 ratings with a 3.9 mostly positive rating on League of Comics Geeks. You know what? I gave the book a 7.6. I'm enjoying it as well. The writer's Jeremy Duggan and artist is Ton Lima. And it says Avengers disassembled, and what they mean by that is there's the main team of Avengers versus the West Coast Avengers here. The main team is not happy at all with the West Coast because they have Ultron. So there's a disagreement there. But Iron Man, Tony Stark, as usual, has a backup plan just in case something goes wrong with Ultron. Unfortunately, he has to show it to get the other team to back down. And that causes some distrust now with Ultron. Will that lead to anything? I don't know. But there's good art. I think this is an interesting issue. Tony's secrets, they do inflict some damage, I think, onto the Avengers team here. Only time will tell what will happen. Will the main Avengers team chill out and back off? Well, really, to be honest, I can see why they're concerned. I doubt they would. Sadly, though, we don't get a visit yet from Wonder Man until the very last page. Yes, because you remember a member of their teams took on the name of Wonder Man, which does not make Wonder Man Simon Williams very happy. Which is funny now, all of a sudden, Marvel's trying to use Wonder Man, but yet the TV series that they've got coming for him doesn't match him probably at all. My guess is due to the backstory too, being a bit convoluted and long-winded, will probably be completely altered and changed. I think the Wonder Man TV series will be Wonder Man in name only. And that's sort of sad because then again, I'm probably one of the few people that like Wonder Man. We'll probably get all those people on the interwebs and things are like, well, who cared about Wonder Man anyway? Well, I'm one of those few that did. I have his complete series and everything else too. If you were a Wonder Man fan, I would love to hear from you. Now let's talk about a couple other people's opinions on this book quickly before we move on. Let's go to a 4-star review. It says this issue was good, but all good and all. Sorry about that. But I can't help but find Ultron's attitude petty and petulant. Like, putting the emotionless robot thing aside, you can't possibly be surprised people don't trust a robot who explicitly only an Avenger because he thinks being a hero is the easiest way to take over the world. I think it's an interesting spin on it. And we have a 3.5-star review. This was really a climactic issue, even if the actual fighting did feel a bit forced. I'm sorry. The whole failsafe with Janet is such a cool idea, though. Book continues to be very fun. And let's go to a 4-star review. A fun fight between two Avengers teams. So as you see here, this book is off to a pretty decent pace here. If you aren't reading this, I think you should. And I think 108 ratings is a pretty good sign. Let's hope it keeps that up. Let's sidestep and go to DC with the JSA. Yep, another team book. This book is JSA number 6 with 204 ratings with a 4 rating. Very positive. And I gave the book not that high. I gave it a 7.2. That doesn't mean bad. Remember, my scoring anything above 7 is better than average. The writer's Jeff Lemire. Artist is Diego Orlandegui and Joey Vasquez. Whew, I think I butchered them a bit there. The Tower of Fate is under attack. Yep, it is. The JSA has been taking a beating. And as the Demon Horde descends on the Tower of Fate, the JSAers, well, they're getting messed up. Let's just say that. And they want Dr. Fate's mask. And the lines of battle are crossed here. Yep, a JSA member does something that some others don't agree with. Is murder okay? Is killing an enemy okay? That's an interesting question. What do you think? If you don't think an enemy will stop, is killing them okay? The team is in disarray. Wildcat is down. Appears to be dead. Will he be? I doubt it, let's be honest. But they're making it look like that right now. There's decent art in this issue, good action, but not much story progression. As I said, 7.2 is not a bad score. But let's look what somebody else has to say. Let's go to a 3.5 star review. Fine, but one day you're going to get yourself in a mess, and that darn helmet won't be able to help you. That's true. That was told Wildcat to Dr. Fate, and he learns a lesson. But anyway, story. Lamore keeps things moving, switching back and forth between the classic and younger teams, each facing a different kind of adversity. He seems to have a good handle on these characters, and I have no complaints in that regard. Let's switch to another review here. Here is one that is... Wow. Okay, we got a 4-star here. A lot is going on. I believe the ending when I see it. I get that. So far, the biggest problem has been the JSA versus the JSA. It's obviously there is some mind control going on here. Someone hasn't felt like herself was in a big giveaway. Sorry though, I gotta read it as it's here, and that can be issue-y sometimes. I'm sure this is all going to turn out good. Once the JSA is united, they will be held to pay. The artwork has been great. So there you go. Here we go. Here is a 1-star review. We got to get some of these. The run is just the JSA being obnoxious jerks to each other and getting their butts kicked. At least we got a month off from Lemur butchering scandal. Also, no DC. I'm not reading the fart fetish ladies Fire and Ice. Well, I'm going to agree on that one. She already butchered him once. She doesn't get a second chance. Now, I'm going to agree with this reviewer here, because what they did is at the end of the issue, they're trying to advertise another Fire and Ice story. I tried that previous series by this, and I couldn't get through it. I had to quit. It was garbage, and they're trying to push it again. It failed once. Why are you trying to push a failure a second time? Come on, DC, wake up. Next, let's go with another DC book. The Birds of Prey issue number 20. Has 123 ratings with a 4.2, very positive, and I gave the book a 7.2. As usual, I grade harder than other ones. This book does have some alternate covers. The main cover's not bad. Some of the alternate covers are much better, though. I consider checking those out if you are a collector in that regard. I don't buy multiple copies. I get one copy of a book. But you know, sometimes you might find a different cover appealing. And anyway, the writer is Kelly Thompson, penciler is Sammy Bissari. And well, we have a brand new team of villains in this book. A midnight heist, staged crime scene, and an all new, or is it old, villain team emerging. Yep, with their sights on. The Birds of Prey get separated to do some checking into what's going on, and they're all getting attacked. The birds, really, it seems like they're still on a wild goose chase here, and they bit right into it, but yet they know that, but yet they still seem to get themselves in too much trouble to handle. Bart is getting shot into outer space on this issue and blown up. Yeah, that's interesting. Decent art, and I have to say that there's decent story and pacing here too. So 7.2 isn't too bad. Actually, maybe I should have bumped it up to a 7.3, 7.4, but you know, sometimes different opinions in there. And let's switch up to Deadpool, number 13, 70 ratings with a 4.0, very positive rating. I gave it a 7.1, not as high. The writer's Cody Ziegler, artist is Raj Antonio. The road to revenge, yes, Death Grip killed Deadpool previously, but now, of course, because it's comics, he's back. But he's not up to his full ability to heal. So, you know, it is what it is. Wade's out to return the favor, though, with his team. And he's armed with a new weapon he's hoping to use to be able to stop the dude that killed him. Yep. And we get a guest appearance from Wolverine for, really, I didn't see a need except for having him on the cover to boost sales in this issue. But that's me. I think it's decent art, decent action in this book, a little bit of story progression. You get your normal Deadpool humor. Can't speak. Deadpool humor in this issue. There is a nice little AC/DC reference for the storyline name of the next issue, so I think that's cool. But overall, it's just a meh issue. There's some alternate covers for this one too. Nothing that really jumps out to me, but once again, one of those might fit your fancy. But you know what? Let's check out somebody else's views on this comic book. Here is a 4-star one. I wouldn't touch anything in the Pleasure Dome. Boy, you know what? that might be absolutely true. That might make a good title. Don't touch anything in the Pleasure Dome. That's a very good point. Great issue, great plot involving the Marissa Blade, and this is the type of Deadpool and Wolverine interactions I prefer instead of what's going on in other titles. Probably meaning that they didn't just fight it out, they actually talk. But there you go. That's some other views in the comic shop. Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by my wallet. Yeah, I'm not trying to push any kind of wallet or pimp any wallet out. What I mean is it's sponsored by my personal wallet and the cash that comes out of it to pay for these things. If you want to help with this, you can hit like, subscribe, that notification bell. Those are great ways to get started. But if you find yourself in a position where you can help the channel more, we have a Patreon and a subscribe star down below that you can click on those links. And for as little as $1 a month, you'll have special videos and things to just you, music that you can get. Or maybe if you wanted to, a one-time donation just to help out. We have a Streamlabs link down below. Or we also have, if you go to the Patreon shop, you could buy a song for like $3. I wish I could put them a little lower, but that's the minimum they allow for that. So there's lots of options. Sometimes you might even see an Amazon link. If you want to buy anything through Amazon, click on my link first, then go through there. That'll give me a couple pennies, possibly that way too as well. So there's lots of ways you can help out the channel, because without you, it would not be possible. So thank you, everybody. And let's get back to the video. All right, this next one, that's going to be a little different. All new Venom number 5. It has a 3.5, mostly positive rating with 222 ratings on League of Comics Geeks. I did not rate it because, well, okay, hear me out here. I didn't read it. I just couldn't. I got out of the last Venom series. I stuck it in for a long time, and it was enough. I just wasn't digging it. And then they started the all new Venom. And I just didn't have any willpower to start getting into that one. But here's what I want to talk about. The common thing that's going on, but I wanted to share my feelings. We get a reveal that the all-new Venom is none other than Mary Jane Watson. Yes. What the crap? That is so stupid. Marvel, they seem to have an identity crisis with with MJ. Yeah, I did that on purpose, actually. Because she's also Jackpot. So what hero is she? She's Jackpot. She's Venom. She's both. I'm sorry, but correct me if I'm wrong, people out there in the comic shop here. MJ makes a fantastic character as a supporting character to Peter Parker. I think the best stories we get with her are when she's, you see how she's dealing with issues with Peter and maybe has a different view on things. And one of the things that also makes this interestingly abysmal dynamic, in my opinion, if any long-term readers, you know what I'm talking about, MJ greatly fears Venom. There is a major disconnect there, but yet she's wearing a Venom suit. This makes no sense. It's Marvel trying to make everybody a hero, and making everybody a hero means there's a lesser impact of everybody that is a hero. On top of that, you don't have to have powers to be a hero. She's done some amazing things without having powers. If we're going to go the power route, it might have been the better way, like we've seen in spin-off stories from alternate versions and universes of Mary Jane. But in the main continuity 616, do you really want to see MJ running around as a hero? I want to know. And on top of that, what do you think about her being Venom? I think it's dumb that MJ is the new Venom while she's also Jackpot. And what's just, no thank you. I passed. I couldn't even get into reading this, but knowing that, I thought, you know what? I've got to talk about this a little bit. That way, I can piss some people off, because I'm sure somebody's going to be mad at me, because I don't prefer MJ as Venom. All right, the last book I want to talk about right now for this week is Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu, number 7, with 219 ratings, 4.4, very positive score on League of Comics Geeks. And I gave the book a 7.3. Writer's Jed McKay, artist is Demencio Carbone, I believe. 8-Ball finds a new crew. Yeah, actually what we do is we take the crew that we've been dealing with, and they make makeshift villains of themselves because they're trying to draw out Hank Pym, because they just couldn't get him to contact them back because he's in hiding. And so they make a screwball ragtag set of names and monikers for themselves to draw them out. When they do, Hank and Moon Knight have a very good chat. So they're doing this, by the way, to get Hank to create an antidote to the drug that's going around. And at the end, we see some of the dynamics coming to play with Tigra, Moon Knight, Hank Pym, the love triangle kind of thing going on. And Hank and Moon Knight have a really good chat at the end of the issue, because Hank says, I've got a kid. I don't know if I should involve myself because I'm with my kid's life because I'm such a screw up and all this stuff. And Moon Knight, knowing, well, he's not necessarily been, perfectly innocent of not screwing things up himself, says that, he wishes he had that opportunity. He doesn't have that opportunity with his child. And he believes, even though he's a screw up, he would love to have that opportunity, and Hank shouldn't miss out on it. And I think, as being a dad, that hit me, and I agree, you should have, and to do your best for your children and have, an influence in their lives. No one's perfect. That's one of the things I struggle with every day. I ask myself, anytime I have altercations with my kids, teachable moments and things, I ask myself, what could I have done better? Did I do an okay job? Do I maybe even need to apologize to my children about how I came to them about this issue and explain that this is why I did that? I probably should have done this. And I think that's good parenting, to teach your kids that we are all flawed, we all make mistakes, but yet still realize that you are to obey your parents, respect your parents. We are all people. So that was my thoughts on that book. I'd love to know what your thoughts are this week on these comic books. This one wasn't as long as last week, so that's probably good. You're thinking it's last week was over a half an hour, I believe. But if you don't mind, like, subscribe, and all that, help out this channel. We greatly appreciate you and all of your support. And definitely want to know, what is your thoughts on MJ in this? All right, everybody, thank you for your time. Have a blessed day. And until next time, keep it fruity.